Hi, welcome to Oma's Kitchen.
Oregano.
Cajun cake is an old-fashioned recipe. It's a pineapple cake with a coconut and pecan sugar glaze icing on top. I take the old-fashioned recipe and add a couple of things in there to sort of brighten the cake up. And we're even going to add a little bit of bourbon to the icing and let the alcohol cook out and leave the flavor behind. So let's get started on a Bourbon Cajun cake in Oma's Kitchen. This is actually going to make 2 medium-sized cakes. So I have 2 baking trays here. You could use glass or metal baking trays. They're about 10 by 12 by 2. You could use 9 by 12 by 2. 2 inches deep is good because you're going to pour hot icing over the top of them when they come out of the oven. I have my all-purpose flour here. Right there. Let's do 3 cups. Let me set this down here. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. So 1. They're not rounded. I sort of shake them off till they're flat. 2. 3. And as always, when I get my flour container out of the closet, I shake it to add some air into my flour. So that's 3 cups of all-purpose flour there. We need 2 1/4 cups of cane sugar. So because I've already used my 1 cup measurement for the flour, I don't want to put flour that's stuck to it into my sugar bowl. So I'm going to use my 1/2 cup measurement and my 1/4 cup measurement. So 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, and 1/4. So we have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 1/4 cups of cane sugar. To that, we want to add a tablespoon of baking soda. What this does is the baking soda actually reacts with the pineapple. It helps your cake to rise. Flat tablespoon. I'm going to whisk these together, and then I will add about 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg to it. Fresh ground nutmeg. This is one of my own additions to Cajun cake. The recipe itself is very simple. It's this mixture I just put together with some eggs and pineapple. I'm the one who adds a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of coconut extract with the eggs, just because I think it gives it a nicer flavor. I'm going to take my eggs off camera and open them, and then I will be back. So here's my 3 eggs. I just wanted to have those open. I'm going to go ahead and include the nutmeg. And I'm really just going to put about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon in here. You don't want it to take over, just like every time I use nutmeg. I do like it behind fruit as a flavor. I use this for my mango pie as well. Same reason. It's nice to have this as a background flavor. So we have the dry ingredients put together. Eggs in first. In the middle there. A 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple in 100% pineapple juice. And we're going to include the juice, so we don't empty the can. The whole thing goes in there. Okay. So we've got the eggs and the pineapple. To that, I will add a teaspoon of coconut extract. Again, this is my addition. Because there's coconut in the icing and pineapple in the cake, I just think, like the nutmeg, the coconut extract really kind of picks the flavor up. Okay, this is our entire cake mixture. We're going to mix this together Get it well blended, and then we're going to put it in the pans. I have my oven preheated to 360 degrees, but that's because it's a gas oven. The recipe calls for 350 degrees. If you have an electric oven, 350 is great. You have to raise the temperature on a gas oven a little bit because natural gas has some moisture in it. In order to get the same baking results, you have to raise the temperature for most recipes about 5 or 10 degrees. Really, I just want this well mixed. Oh, it smells so good already. It's not even in the oven yet. You can smell that pineapple and coconut already in there. It smells like a pina colada. Okay, we have it mixed together. I could have used my stand mixer, but this all mixes together fairly easily. It's not a very thick batter. I want to be able to show this. Because we added baking soda and pineapple, they react with each other. Can you see the bubbles? And that's what you want to happen in the oven as well. So we're going to hurry up and get this into the trays so we can stick them in the oven. So I'm just going to do this 1 spoon at a time for each one thing. So 1. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And I'm just going to smooth this out in the tray. And both of these will go in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Stick a skewer or a knife in the center to make sure it's done before you pull it out. Right before they come out of the oven, after 30 to 35 minutes, we will move over to the stove top and start on that warm coconut, pecan, bourbon, cane sugar icing. Into the oven they go, 30 to 35 minutes. We're going to start putting the icing together right here before the cake comes out of the oven. We need 3/4 of a cup of butter, which is 1.5 sticks. We're going to put that in here, in my pan. And the first thing we'll have to do is cook the butter, sugar, and milk until it's boiling. Cane sugar. This makes the nicest glaze style icing. I love it. Okay, 1 1/4 cups of cane sugar. So 1/2, 1 1/4. And I'm using evaporated milk. You could use regular milk or whole milk, but I'm going to use evaporated milk, and I need 3/4 of a cup. So here's my old beaten up measuring cup. So I need 3/4 of a cup. All right. So butter, sugar, and milk. This will go on the stove, and we'll bring it to a boil before we add the rest of the ingredients. I am going to go put a skewer in the cake, and we'll see if it's close to done yet. I can tell they're not done yet though. See that? Middle's too soft. We need another 5 to 7 minutes. See, now you can tell that my cake is not completed.
Yeah.
These are already chopped pecans. We need 1.5 cups each of pecans and coconut. That's 1/2 cup. Ooh, 1 cup. One and a half cups, and I don't care if they're heaping or whatever. It's not like, oh no, I've used too many pecans. Okay. So 1.5 cup of chopped pecans. When I'm putting the icing together, it'll be nice to already have these measured. I can just dump them in. Open the coconut. This is just flaked, sweetened coconut. I've tried plain coconut that hasn't been sweetened, and it doesn't taste like the coconut flavor you're after at all. Do you have any when you were any coconut?
Yeah, that's coconut stuff. I don't know if it was regular
Sweetened. If it tasted nice, it was probably sweetened. Okay, 1.5 cups of sweetened flaked coconut. So we've got 1.
It was all in Japanese, so it might not have even been coconut.
Right. 2. 3. So that's 1.5 cups of sweetened flaked coconut. So we have this on almost high, medium high. We gotta get the butter melted. I'm just gonna stir the sugar in a little bit with the milk. Get that butter to start melting. We need to bring this to a boil, and then we'll add in the rest of the ingredients. Okay, time to get the cakes out. And aren't they beautiful? Trust me, they are not too done. Inside is light and fluffy. Outside is nice and browned. We let those start to cool while I finish the icing. The icing goes on top of the warm cake. So I'm going to turn this back up and get it boiling. Oh yeah, see how it's starting to boil up? That's how we're going to turn it into this syrupy icing. Okay, in goes pecans. I've got it down on medium high now. In goes coconut. See why it's easier? Just have it measured ahead of time. Okay. Ooh, my favorite part. Boink. 1 bourbon. Ooh. 2 bourbons. Teaspoon of vanilla. Teaspoon or 2? Oh, 1.5 teaspoons. So we're going to fudge it and just sort of hand mix that. Alright. So this has to boil for a good 2 minutes before we put it on top of the cake. We're going to get that alcohol to cook out a little bit. It smells so good. And it starts to thicken. All the sugar melts down with the coconut and pecans and butter. Oh man, it smells good. See how it's got those big puffy edges? See that? That's what we're aiming at. Because it starts to thicken a little before we put it on the cakes. I wish this was smell-o-vision so you guys could smell the bourbon pecan coconut icing for these cakes. Because how decadent. And it's exactly how it smells too. Alright, I'm going to do a couple of spoonfuls at a time on each cake. And yeah, you want it to sink into the cake a little bit. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of smearing here in just a second. Okay? Smear it around on top. You see that?
Yeah.
You want it to kind of take over the whole top before it starts to cool, because once it starts to cool, it is an icing. Here we have it. Now they have to cool completely before you cut them. Okay, we've let this cool off for quite a while. So we're going to actually cut a little bit of this. Get around the edges too. This is a very moist cake. Oh, that's such a nice moist cake. Wow, that bourbon really adds to that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Wow. Yum.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you for joining me in Oma's Kitchen. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll upload more tasty videos soon, and a special shout out to Moon Pie and Lil Bit. Till next time.